Yep, according to a bunch of white dudes who misinterpreted the Mayan calendar decades ago, the end of the world, as predicted by the Mayans, is today. Kind of anticlimactic. Anyway, I decided to celebrate the apocalypse by discussing famous Mesoamerican deities. And the one that's really famous is the Feathered Serpent. So, Feathered Serpent! The Feathered Serpent is a symbol in numerous ancient cultures. The Egyptian snake god, Wadjet, was portrayed as a winged cobra, and the Longs of China, often called Eastern or Chinese dragons in the West today, were usually portrayed as serpentine with feathers. However, the most well-known feathered serpent is Quetzalcoatl, a major god in the Aztec myth. Quetzalcoatl was a god of creation that built this world, and he became a patron of arts and provided humanity with corn, and then departed from this mortal plane. It is commonly believed by many that when Cortez arrived in what is today Mexico, the native Aztecs, or Mexica, mistakenly believed him to be Quetzalcoatl returned. This is false. The idea of the natives mistaking Europeans for gods likely came about via European arrogance during the age of colonization. Remember that this is the era when Europe thought it was doing people a favor by conquering them and bringing them European sophistication. If the Aztecs ever did welcome Cortez, as the legends say, then it is likely that the Spanish mistook the Aztecs' idea of politeness as a form of submission. But what of the Mayans? Mayan Civilization was not the same as the Aztec Empire, despite many writers today conflating the two. In fact, they didn't even coexist with each other. Mayan Civilization had mostly ended by around the year 900 AD, whereas the Aztecs did not come into prominence until around 400 years later. However, myths have a funny habit of transcending civilization. Around the year 600, Mayan Civilization housed a growing religious movement, the cult of the Feathered Serpent. This cult was primarily concerned with the worship of a deity known as Kukulkan, which literally means feathered snake. Kukulkan was believed to be the supreme god of the Mayans, and like Quetzalcoatl after him, he was viewed as a creator god and was associated with corn. Due to the popularity of the faith, it is likely that worship of Kukulkan continued even after the decline of the Mayans, and that Kukulkan eventually morphed into Quetzalcoatl. The actual origins of the feathered serpent as a symbol are unknown. Some theorize that the general shape represents fertility, for obvious phallic imagery involving snakes. Sexualized religious objects and symbols often symbolize fertility in ancient cultures. Perhaps the symbol had some connection to dinosaurs. Recent archaeological evidence points to many dinosaurs, including most notably raptors, having had feathers. However, the ancient peoples probably didn't even know about dinosaurs, so this is unlikely. Another theory I've seen, which seems kind of interesting, points out that feathers bear a resemblance to flames and lights and such. A celestial event such as the aurora borealis could be seen as bearing a resemblance to a feathered snake in the sky. Perhaps at some point in the past, an event similar to the aurora borealis occurred along the equator, which would explain the appearance of feathered snakes in Egyptian, Central American, Chinese, and other traditions. The shape could have originated to explain this bizarre event. Despite its ancient roots and general status as a pagan deity, there are actually still people alive today who worship the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl, but with a twist. Some, though not all, Mormons believe that the deity the Aztecs worshipped was in fact Jesus Christ. Since one of the main ideas behind the Mormon faith is that Jesus visited the Americas, it follows that, under Mormon philosophy, the Native Americans adapted Jesus into their faiths. Quetzalcoatl is one of the more common ones, apparently. However, it should be noted that I am by no means a scholar of the Mormon religion, and I could only find a handful of articles making the connection between Jesus and Quetzalcoatl, so it is likely that this isn't a particularly widespread belief.
barricades come down, I build it up again when I'm just about to drown.